see my kicks when I see y'all walk. Flex on me, y'all ain't strong. Say my name, that's him. Look, still on top, yeah, it's been that long. They won't know till I say I'm gone. They won't know, say my name. Hey everyone, and welcome to the That Sam Law Show. And of course, I'm your host, Sam Law. Today's guest is Trevor Jackson. Now, Trevor Jackson is one of those guys that has 5011 hats. Now, if you're from the South, you heard the term 5011 before. If you haven't, and this is your first time, welcome. So basically what that means is he is a multifaceted entrepreneur. He doesn't do one thing. He doesn't do two things. He doesn't just do three things. He does several, everything from marketing, strategy, consulting, entertainment, movie production. It's just so many things. I can't even remember them all, but we're going to dig into them. So Trevor, tell my audience about yourself.
Listen. My name's Trevor Jackson. I do a multitude of different things, which I'm trying to stop, by the way. I'm getting rid of a lot of these things. Made a film called Speak to Me. Shout out my brother Kurt Damas, the director, carried everyone on his back for the whole film. I run a company called This Is Long Island Media. I run another company called Dream Obnoxious Creative Company that connects company and community using unique and innovative strategies. So that's really what I do. And I have a podcast called the Hidden Opportunity Podcast with financial advisor Jordan Awoye of Awoye Capital. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I know all these people. I've had the pleasure of meeting all these people. So
great people, great humans.
It's kind of crazy. We were just talking about this before the camera started rolling. I actually met Trevor back in February of 2023. Wow, this year's almost over. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I went to one of the premieres of Speak to Me, which is a really powerful short film.
What'd you think of the film?
What did I think of it? I thought it was deep, you know. Yeah. I have my master's in mental health counseling. I'm a therapist. And, you know, focusing on, I don't want to give it away. Can I?
Don't tell the end.
All right. So focusing on mental health in the Black community, especially with Black men, was really deep to me. And I think, you know, the focus of, I don't want to dig into the story, but just the focus of dealing with loss.
Yeah.
And how long that impact can have on you. And I lost my dad. I've lost one of my best friends, childhood friends. I lost them to suicide. They were both not my dad, but the two childhood friends, I lost them to suicide, both Black males.
You probably would have never thought it either.
Absolutely not. They were athletes. They were popular. One of them was famous at the point where he killed himself. And it was just devastating. And I've dealt with mental health issues and crises myself. So just kind of seeing that highlighted, seeing the focus, even just the call to action that if you need help, go get it.
Yeah.
You know, to me, that was deep, and it spoke to me.
Yeah. No,
it really did.
We created the film because we lost a brother, not from completing suicide. He had a random health issue at the time, and no one knew about. He was the healthiest out of all of us, and we lost him. And Kurt, the director of the film, was literally like, he hit me one day. He was like, yo, can I come by and just kick it? I was like, yeah, just pull up. We're at the crib, we're drinking, and he said, if I didn't have anybody to speak to, I could fully understand why. This is after a couple months later. He was like, at that point in time, if I didn't have someone to speak to, I could understand why people complete suicide. At that point in time, he started writing the film. He sent it. If you don't know Kurt Damas, he's a madman. So when he says he's going to do something, he does it as quick as possible. So he hands me the first iteration of the film. I'm like, oh, you that act, like this is really happening.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So I get the film, I rewrite it, my little piece in it. He gets it, he sends it back. He's like, make corrections. I said, there's no reason to make corrections. This is fire. So then we started filming. We casted and we started filming within like 2 months. So it's a testament to him, really. His work ethic, his drive, his like, I'm gonna do it. What money? We don't need it. Let's just film, let's just go. And that's him. That's Kurt. So the film we've been
dope.
in some film festivals. It's been a good run, but we want to do more.
Nah, it's dope. One of the things that I liked is you use Long Island talent. You guys are from Long Island, you know. It was dope, and you know I'm friends with the sister of the deceased that you speak of, and seeing that was tough. And you're right. If you don't have people to speak to about trying things that you're going through, you could end up in a very dark place. Sure. And hopefully
because we had each other, we had such a dope core
right
around us, and a lot of times, especially with friends, there's a whole bunch of dissension as you get older and jealousy, and you can't be happy for people, but we're genuinely happy when we find success, and we have a good core of fellas, so it works out for us.
See, I think that's dope. Men of color, make sure you get a good core of fellas, people that you can talk to, because your life is important, it's valuable. What you're going through it's not too much for anyone to listen to. Get some venting partners, not just like drinking and doing whatever.
You gotta
partners,
have a beverage
but
too now.
Some venting partners.
A little beverage.
Yeah, have a beverage and vent. Yeah,
no,
vent, praise each other, like give each other. One of the things my boyfriend always says is he's like, I go to all these events with you where you speak and stuff, and like women are big on empowering each other. Like you guys will have an event just to tell each other you're pretty.
Yeah, but there's no stigma to doing that.
That's true.
Right? You're able to articulate yourself in a easier way without having to be this masculine person all the time. So it's open, it's more common place amongst women in culture right now, rather than men. They don't know what to be, how to be it, and especially in this current time, and everything's a tad bit confusing.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have some events where men just tell each other you're awesome, like awesome dude event. I don't know. You're the mover and shaker in the community.
No, absolutely not. That's you.
Now you got something coming up soon. Like I'm.
Yeah, we have an
excited.
event coming up at a cigar lounge, Smoke Cigar Lounge, October 16th. October 26th, and then November 16th, the one that you're going to moderate, is that's to be decided, the location, but it'll be November 16th, and that's going to be the state of Long Island in general, with This Is Long Island Media and hopefully some other partners.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to empowering people with you and having a good time. So let me ask you this, since we were just talking about the film and everything. Can you share a pivotal moment or experience that solidified your passion for film and storytelling?
No, I really don't have one. So it was just something that I like writing. There's levels to this as I'm learning right now with just the books I'm reading. Again, Kurt has been amazing sending books. He's really leveled up. So I don't have a particular moment. I like storytelling. I have my own podcast.
Right.
I have stuff like that. Events is a story. Obviously, content is stories. Movies are stories. So your life is really a story. It has arcs and ups and downs, and this big point of where you find your success and you beat the adversary. So that life is kind of the inspiration behind it, and knowing that every day you're living your story. So that's why.
I want to just go back a little step. You said that Kurt had given you some books.
Yeah.
What books you reading?
Right now, just finished Save the Cat.
What's that about?
Sounds crazy. I know.
I feel like I've heard of this book.
No, it's a screenwriting book.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
a book for
Save the Cat.
Yeah,
that's
Save
right.
the Cat.
It kind of tells you. Is it?
Exactly.
Can I ask you this weird question? Is Save the Cat the basis from Schrodinger's cat theory? If the cat's in the box, is it dead or alive? A little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that title makes sense.
But the book it's fire. It's good. It's definitely good for screenwriters at the beginning, because there's so many levels, because we've gotten into film festivals and we've gotten critiques. Like, so when you see it on a level of you're just trying to enjoy the film, you're gonna love it. But when you're sitting down and your job is you're at Tribeca Film Festival and your job is to watch this film for, did you get coverage of this shot? Did you, you're gonna get some notes, and you gotta study. There's no success without the work.
That's a fact. How do you guys handle those criticisms and critiques?
Love it, because that means someone's willing to give it the criticism to us.
They're pouring into you.
Yeah, in a helpful way. It's like when you play ball, and if your coach is yelling at you, that means he cares. The moment that your coach stops yelling at you, that person doesn't really rock with you no more. They've moved on. So the criticism is necessary for success.
That's great.
We're gonna go over this time, by the way. So
we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So I want to go back. We're gonna shift away from the film a little bit. We're gonna talk about. You gonna ask me a question? No one asked me questions on the show.
Let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
So you've been doing a lot of work in Long Island for a very long time.
Yeah, I've lived here most of my life.
For like a decade. Plus, 15 years.
Yeah, don't
right?
give my age away.
No, you're 22 years old. 22, Sammy, 22. This is my first full year was last year. This September 22nd was my first full year in business, specifically on Long Island. It's such an interesting place to navigate the actual island between a whole bunch of different things that we won't discuss. How do you navigate the island and stay away from certain things, but go towards the things you should be going towards as a businesswoman?
Oh, this is a tough question. No one's ever asked me a question, so we're gonna start there. I'm gonna put my questions down for a second. I think that for me, it honestly was associating myself with the right people. And when I say the right people,
but how do you know they're the right folk?
You don't. That's what I was about to dig into. So you don't necessarily know right away, because if you're out, you're networking, you're meeting people. Like we were just saying before, I think we had approached Kurt about being on the show, but for whatever reason, fate brought me and you together. Yeah, for sure. So maybe right now or at this time, it's not for me to know Kurt, but it's for me to know you. I think that's critical, and we don't know where in our storyline
for sure
we're gonna go. What's next, and then you might meet somebody else that's gonna take you to another point in your storyline. But then there's people that will literally set you back because they have alternative motives.
Wolves in sheep's clothing.
They've got hidden agendas, and you do get hurt. You are gonna get hurt. You are gonna deal with some things that are gonna throw you off for your path. But it's the people like that are your day ones. Some of them will leave and move on, hopefully to bigger and better things. Some of them might fall away because they're dealing with some conflict within themselves. But the ones that stick around, like the people that stick around that's kind of seen you come up, and the new people that you gather that are pushing you and guiding you and supporting you, they're going to be the people that kind of push you through those dark periods, as long as you're communicating like, all right, I'm having a tough time here. I need some advice here. I need some guidance here. For me, I'm just gonna say this, and I know it might turn some people up, but having that connection with God and really just like leaning into hearing His voice and His guidance on who to be around, who not to be around. Sometimes go to an event, sometimes don't go, or Him just speaking through my friends. Like I had a function where I was invited to a gun violence function last summer. And I didn't want to go. Like, I was just in one of those moods where I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to do nothing. I just wanted to stay home. And if I didn't do that, I would have missed out on strengthening a relationship with the Bell Law Group. They're a sponsor for the show. Hey, everyone. It's Sam Law of the That Sam Law Show. And I just want to welcome a very special person, our sponsor, John Bell of the Bell Law Group. John Bell, tell us about the Bell Law Group.
So we're a law firm in Syosset, Long Island, and we focus on employment law and personal injury law. The reason we focus on that is basically to fight for people in need. That's the reason why I became a lawyer, and that has been the mission of the Bell Law Group since I started it 20 years ago. Started out as the law office of Jonathan Bell, but then when it became more than just me, we decided to change the name, change the logo and branding to the Bell Law Group, and we've been out there ever since. Great. So, John Bell, if anyone needs your services, how can they reach you? 855-JOHN-BELL, JONBELL, or on our website, belllg.com.
Thank you. It not only just strengthening that relationship and then becoming a sponsor, but then becoming a family friend. And just like all the things that have happened since then and how they've empowered us and we've empowered them. like just really like being flexible and open. That's kind of helped me navigate Long Island because, like you said, there's a lot of things. You got to deal with racism, you got to deal with discrimination, you got to deal with ageism. Just so
The toughest part is when your own people don't want to see you win, though. That's tough.
That's the most painful.
That's tough. Yeah.
It's the most painful. And a therapist that I did an event with, she said to me, you can't look at it from the lens of, I want to empower people, I want to help people. You got to kind of like, you still keep doing that, but when you're dealing with people and you're out in the mud and you're in the trenches, one of the things she said was, you got to realize, you got to think about their mindset.
It's a fact.
They're coming from a place of struggle. And when you're in a struggle, can you see past it?
Yeah.
Nah, you thinking about, I got to feed.
Like a scarcity mindset,
Yes,
kind of. So, yeah,
you're like
yeah.
thinking about, I got to feed my kids right now, so I don't have time to go to that function that might empower me to do better. You know, and once I started to really like take that in and digest it and take the meat and spit out the bones, I learned to know when to fall back, know when to give myself grace, know when to give others grace, and also know when to cut people off.
For sure.
You know?
For sure. So with This Is Long Island Media, the goal is to just, when you ask me, everything to me, like I said, is a screenplay. Mm-hmm. So it's to tell stories, right, but from a unique aspect of Long Island. Every company on Long Island said this is a unique story, this is a unique aspect. But I grew up in the suburbs of Bayshore, so it wasn't the trenches. But I grew up with people in that environment, but I also grew up with people in, mansions and all that stuff. I was in a little bit of the in-between. Right. So I want to be able to tell those stories with the event, the Cigar Lounge event. It is like that. It's person-to-person bonding. So during the Cigar Lounge event for This Is Long Island Media, everyone gets the opportunity to talk about their business, almost like AA, but a positive AA. Nice. When you can talk about your business, what are your pain points? Because there literally might be someone on the opposite side of the room that's an investor. This November 16th, the State of the Culture, the state of Long Island one, that is that's based off of, well, what do we really, because we all hear a bunch of old people talk on Long Island all the time. No disrespect, no disrespect.
That's a fact.
We hear a bunch of old people talking about how it was to live back. Bro, the house is $600,000.
Yeah.
Right, so if the house is $600,000, don't talk to me about your $250 and how you could, because you can't have one job and afford this. You can't have one hustle to afford this. Then you got student loan debt. Mm-hmm. So we really want to be able to have conversations with older people, with younger people, because there's a disconnect in that middle of old and young. It's like, we need them, and you need us.
That's what I get my TED Talk on, actually.
Yeah.
Intergenerational hostility.
We need each other, hence why, like, for example, hip-hop. Right. The biggest problem with hip-hop is the clash between old and young. You actually need the old and you need the youth, because there's that conduit to, we're gonna be old one day.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And
I saw a great hair the other day.
So we gotta have conversation that benefits both parties.
No, I totally agree with that. Like I said before, I actually gave a TEDx speech on that because I had went through so many things where, like, I was working with this big business owner who had been in the game, always featured and the best of Long Island, this report, that report, and they just were not ready to pass the baton. Yeah. And I'm not even saying that they had to be ready to pass it, but they weren't even training up people to take it. So what happens when they die or they went through something where they got kicked off their high horse?
Yeah, it's fact.
And now there's no one to step up, or they didn't train the next person to step up, so now their organization is being taken over by completely new people. Yeah. Which could be good.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I think that's critical. Just building those bridges and making sure that we stay connected, because people don't really think about that discrepancy in age and in just time. It's funny you brought up something that you brought up housing, and you brought up, like, right now houses are $600,000. So a real estate agent made a post on Facebook the other day, and I'm not saying I have anything against this real estate agent, because I don't, but their post irked my nerves because they were like, go on Zillow, look at what your house was when you bought it, and look at what it's valued at now. Now, for me, that's triggering, because it doesn't matter what the heck you bought your house. I don't want to even know what you bought your house at, then, because it was like $160,000 he bought his house at, and now it's worth 500,000 or something crazy like that. And that was painful for me because I was like, dang, if I had been a certain age or if I had had money at a certain time, I would be a homeowner. And I don't have that opportunity. You know, how do we this shifting thing? Like you said, you can't just work one job. I own a home healthcare agency, own marketing company. I do the show. I model. I have to do so many things, and I have a mountain of debt.
So that's one thing I do with Dream Obnoxious Creative Company, is the development work, because white, black, whatever, there's so many things going on, especially in Long Island in the New York area, that people that come from where we come from, they don't know about.
That's a fact.
Like the offshore wind initiative going around right now in Long Island, just workforce in general, like CNC machinists, HVAC, engineers, just things that you don't have to go to college for and accumulate debt for. People are able to now find ways into those fields. But if they don't know about it, if there's no engagement, if there's no stakeholder engagement within that community, then you're going to find problems, because the goal is to develop these communities. The goal is to engage the stakeholders, so then the stakeholders can go to the young bulls and say, yo, look, this is what's going on. There's opportunity here in the nursing field, in the healthcare field. There's opportunity here in the renewable energy field. They're about to put, New York State mandated that the 20 million heat pumps need to be put in, 20 million or $20 million worth of heat pumps need to be put in the New York area. There's opportunity, like curriculums have to change. So that's part of the development work. We create programs like Sports Power Clean Energy. We do activations with the seniors. We have a bunch of wonderful partners and of developers of all different sorts. And so that's my main goal, to develop community, all different communities, all different colors, all different everything. And yeah.
No, that's dope. I have the privilege of working on your website and reading the design. And I was going through it, and I was like, oh man, there's a lot going on here. First off, when I looked at the background, you had this is Long Island, and then you also had, what was it, Fueled by Culture, right?
Yeah, Marcus. So I work with Marcus Damas of Fueled by Culture.
That's Kurt's brother.
Yes, Kurt's brother, his little brother. And they both serve as like a brother for me. I didn't grow up with an older brother. They both old heads, and I'm joking. But when Marcus started his company, I was an intern for him. So he gave me he really taught me how to fish, right? He gave me the tools to do everything I'm doing right now. So he said, yo, here, this is what you should do with it. He didn't give me a whole bunch of money, but he gave me the knowledge to do everything I'm doing right now is because of him and another person that always wants to remain nameless. So it's definitely, that's the community I talk about. So with Marcus, with Fueled by Culture, he literally put me in rooms that I would never have the opportunity to be in if he wasn't kind enough at the beginning of his process to put me in those rooms. Literally gave me cameras and said, you're gonna shoot this content with Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, E.T. the hip hop preacher. I'm like, yo, Brian, I never use it. You want me to interview this Wolfgang Puck? Funny story, Wolfgang Puck, I'm interviewing him. It's 20 minutes before the interview. We went to LA because it was a Quincy Jones event, right? And we're celebrating Quincy Jones with Hennessy. Bleep that out because they're not paying nobody. So about 30 minutes out of the interview with Wolfgang Puck, I look in the bag. I forgot to bring the microphones from New York because the office was in New York City. We're in the middle of LA. So Marcus, and this is how dope he is, because he's a mentor and all that to me, even though we're the same age. He just looks at me and he goes, well, you'll figure it out, that's why you're here. Drove all the way across town, got the mics, this is LA traffic. Somehow, God was on our side. He was talking about God. God was on our side. We got back across town. With 10 minutes left, we mic'd up and we got to interview Wolfgang. But that's his belief in me, like no matter what happens, he will figure it out, even though he's never done this before in his life. So that's what having a good circle is.
No, that's true. You gotta have a good circle. One of the things you mentioned was if you go on my website and you go on the blog section, there's an article that I wrote about, it's literally rooted in the story of Joseph. And you know, he said he interpreted the dream of like a cupbearer and a butler and a cook, really. He interprets their dreams while he's locked up in prison, going through what he's going through. And one of the people get restored to their position, and the other one gets hanged. And he tells them that this is gonna happen. And one of the most critical things, like that hit me, is when the one that's restored to his proper place, which I believe is the butler. He says to him, "Remember me when you go back to Pharaoh." Now time passed, like several years passes, and now Pharaoh's vexed with some crazy dreams. He's like having these terrible nightmares or whatever. And the butler says, "I know a guy that can interpret your dreams." And all of a sudden Joseph is like restored to this high place. You know, he's like second under Pharaoh. And if it wasn't for someone remembering him and inviting him into that room, you know, his life wouldn't have taken it to the next step.
Yeah.
And just having the faith to do what he was supposed to do to get there.
Just let me in the room.
Yeah.
Do the rest.
Right.
I'll do the rest.
Nah, that's powerful. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, because we got to wrap this up, but, you know, it's a fun question. I like to end with a fun question. And since you've been doing this creative marketing, you're in entertainment, you're producing, you've been doing interviews, have you ever had like a fanboy moment with a client that you had the opportunity of meeting, or a celebrity?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
I didn't. It was internal though.
Okay.
It was internal.
Tell me about it.
Cause I freaked out like
On the inside.
one of them little girls that see Beyonce or Taylor Swift.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in my head. So we interviewing St. John, the rapper, the artist.
Yeah.
So I'm interviewing St. John for Forbes, and it was great. It was a good time. And yo, Mark, I need those interviews, man. You gotta give me. What camera am I? Am I here?
Right
This is
here.
Mark. I need those interviews, man. I gotta put them out because it never came out. It only came out on their their private platform.
Okay.
Anyway, so boom, he's managed by Biggs. So chilling. Interview's over. We're talking to St. John. St. John's cool as hell. So all of a sudden, Biggs walks in the door.
Wow.
I was like, oh, shit, that's Biggs. That's one hat. There's a third of Rockefeller. Oh, because I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, Dame, and Biggs, and I studied the story. I know how it went. And I'm just sitting there like, oh, he stayed, mad cool. So I played it a little too cool because I wanted to ask him a couple questions, but I didn't say nothing because I didn't want to be that guy. Like,
You may remember you in a room.
I've seen him multiple times after
Oh,
that,
see?
but in that moment, that was just like, oh wow, that's one of the goats. That's one of the pillars of African American culture ever of all time.
That's
Yeah.
an awesome moment. Wow, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all the opportunities that you've had and how you're glowing and growing from them. So what's coming down the pipeline next for you?
Work. Just work. Just do the work. I don't like talking about nothing. Just do the work. And then when you see the work, people get angry about the work, and then it fuels me. So I like that. I like when they don't like me.
Nice,
So,
me too.
yeah.
I'm the same way.
Just do the work, and then just keep going. Be humble. Be respectful. Do the work.
I like that. Well, where can my audience find you if they want to?
I have no clue.
and connect?
The Hidden Opportunity, YouTube, Hidden Opportunity Network. I think Trevor Ajax, my Instagram. This is Long Island Media on Instagram. Probably forgetting some. Oh, Speak to Me, the film. And that's really
Dream
it.
Obnoxious.
That doesn't have an Instagram. Dream. Oh, which Sam Law's doing. My website.
Having fun.
She makes websites. You need to go purchase one. I got to get you that stuff, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
That stuff.
Thank you so much for being a guest. We just want to give you your flowers, and I look forward to seeing where you go next and,
For sure,
and
for sure.
building a friendship.
I look
with
forward to
you.
working with you and doing some dope things.
Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the That Sam Law Show.